Okay, so we'll just start with, oh, and then someone comes in. Here we go. So I'm gonna, yeah, we can't quite see my head. That just looks a bit weird. I'll bring it down a little bit more. So I'm just gonna start with a light jog or even just a march. Just to kind of mobilizing your shoulders, or you're doing a little bit of a light jog on the balls of your feet, or you can just stick with here. And then backwards. Nice and light in the feet. Getting that heart rate up gradually. Then focus on that breathing, as always. Okay, now we're going to hold on to the wall, so we're going to do a little bit dynamic stretches. So we're going to do some leg swings, forward and backwards. Go a comfortable range, and if you can go a little bit higher, amazing. So feel that into the glutes, hamstrings. Stay nice and tall. If you can not hold on the wall, amazing as well. Last few. Okay, switch legs. Options, you can hold on to this here or seated. It's just getting warmed up. Thinking big dynamic moves. Okay, so we're going to hands out like a star, and you're going to tap and then up nice and tall. Tap and then up nice and tall. Don't worry if you can't touch your toes, knees are fine here. Or if you want to do a seated version, then you can just tap in here. So like a star, a little bit of a tap. So opposite knee. Comfortable range. Always a little bend in the back of your knees. Try and go a little bit further each time. Comfortable range for yourself, Ellen. Okay, and relax. Okay, we're going to go back to the first exercise. So a little bit of a jog. If you can increase the intensity a little bit more. Have a little knees a little bit higher. And backwards. So getting that heart rate up a little bit. Leg swings. So if you can, get a little bit higher. As long as you don't feel too much of your core moving, so just more the legs. So you want to think of the trunk of the body nice and upright, shoulders in line with your hips. Other side. Side forward, side back. Okay, like a star. Tap. Nice and tall. You try and get down to your feet, that's amazing. Always keep that slight bend in the back of your knees, don't lock them out. Good. So you feel it stretch the back of your legs, into the core a little bit, for body. Let's go last few in here. And relax there. Okay, we're feeling okay? Just going to put this. Do you want to just make sure you're on mute? I don't know. Yeah, it'd be easier if you do it. Okay, so 60 seconds of work, 30 seconds recovery. For the first round, second round, 60 and 15. And then the third one, we're going to try just 60 each move, going back to back each round where we can. So the first one, options. So we have got, so we're going to try and use so go floor one, so on all fours. So that shoulder retractions here, so find a point of reference. So you're kind of dipping the shoulders in and out, so it's strong shoulders, and you're feeling that forward and backwards action with your shoulders. or you can use the wall. Don't know if you can see me. That action there, or hands seated out in front, forward and back. Alright, so that's 60 seconds of work with 30 seconds recovery. Ready, we're going in, keep it an easy number. Right, let's just change the watch. Alright, we're just going to go in 3, 2, 1. So I'm doing the middle option. Off it goes to 60 seconds of work. So moving that shoulders forward and back. Or we can do that option here. Up and then down. So nice and controlled, comfortable range. And if you feel you can go a little bit deeper, then do. So the trunk of the body is nice and still. But it's just the shoulders, so it's a good mobilisation through the shoulders. If you are doing the wall option, just making sure it's straight out in front of your shoulders. You're not going too high up, just right in front of your shoulders, straight on, so you're not too high, too low. And it's not like a press up, it's just more shoulders going forward and backwards. So it's a tiny, small movement. So we've got another 10 more seconds of this. I'm feeling the squeeze of the shoulder blades coming forward and back, and rest there. 30 seconds recovery. So the next one is going to be knee rolls. So before we were doing on here, so standing option, you're going to have your feet together and you're going to do knee rolls this way. So we're going to do 30 seconds one direction and then 30 seconds the other direction. Seated version. So you can do a little bit of rolls here, and then on the back here, a little bit of knee rolls coming in here. So I'm going to do the middle option. Ready? And 3, 2, 1, off you go. So that's that knee. I feel like sometimes the standing option, and you can get a little bit more range of moving, keeping your feet planted on the floor. That knee rotation there. So 10 more seconds and then we're changing the other direction. So slow and controlled sometimes is good, and change direction. If you feel like it's too much in the back, you can bring yourself up and then reset and then come back in when you're ready for the other direction. Just what you want to avoid is this upper back arch. You want to squeeze the shoulder blades back and down. So 10 more seconds. Keeping the feet planted in this option. That's 5. And relax there. 30 seconds recovery. And then it's going to be pelvic tilts that we were doing before. So hands on your hips, and it's just again that small movement, moving the hips posterior, anterior, so moving it forward and back. Tiny, tiny movements. Seated options. Here. So for yourself, Helen, just tiny, tiny movements. You don't want to do too big. And then floor option. Squeeze. So that forward and backward action. Ready? Off we go. So I'm going to do standing version. So it's like a little bit of tailbone in, tailbone out, tailbone in. So you're feeling a little bit of an ab crunch almost when you're coming in. And then I'll always keep a slight bend in the back of your knees. Not hyperextended too much here, so tiny, tiny, tiny movement. We're halfway. Just great for your pelvic floor. Forward and backwards, so 15 more seconds. Nearly there. Great for building up core strength as well. Great warming up through the spine and recover there. 30 seconds of work. Rest, sorry. Right now we're going to have stand, upper body clams. So open up and then coming down here. Upper body clams here. Or you've got the seated version. Looking over your shoulder each time. Or you've got the rolls over to one side and then coming back. Head can be down. When we reach over one side, the other shoulder stays down. And then over. Ready to go. In 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Looking over. Feeling that stretch in the back of your shoulders. As you move from one side to the other. Try and keep the shoulders in line with your hips. Not too much of rotation as you're looking over your shoulder. That's it. Halfway. Go a little bit further past each time. Looking over your shoulder. Open up the chest. We have got 15 more seconds. Nice and long. 10 seconds. And last few. And rest there. 30 seconds recovery. So stand and support knees side to side, so internal and external rotation. So we've got the floor option. So it's one foot knee in and then the other here. Or you've got this option here. Up and over, slow and controlled. Or you've got the knee option here, the internal rotation through the hips. So ready to go again. In 3, 2, 1, off we go. So if you can also do, if you're doing this version here, do one foot, one leg at a time as you're coming over. And try and push a little bit deeper each time. A little hold before you move over. Brace the core, pull the shoulders back and down. Ellen, you do the seated version, so the knees in. Nearly there, last 15. So try and push a little bit, so your foot might come off a little bit. And rest there. 30 seconds recovery. So lateral is using the wall or the floor. So so you have so you get this rotation here through the shoulders, little tap. So we go 1 and then 2, and if you want to add in a wall angel as well, so just advancing that. So 1, 2, wall angel, or you can stick here on the floor. Seated option. So up, down, and then when this fixed position overhead, come back, or you've got the floor option. Clip. Tap, tap, nice and long, and coming in. Okay, I'm choosing the standing option. We're going to 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. So tap, tap, overhead reach, come down. Tap, tap, overhead reach, and then coming down. Slow and controlled, feeling that full length and shortening. Focus on that breath, overhead, and then coming down. So slightly advancing from the one that you did last week, but adding in that lat pull down. Over halfway. Fifteen more seconds. So don't worry if you can't touch the wall. As long as you're thinking your chest is pulled upright and your core is engaged. A little bend in the back of your knees. And rest there. Okay, so that's round 1 done. Is everybody feeling okay? Yeah? Okay, so the next one is going to be 60 and 15, so not next to no rest whatsoever. So yeah, so we're going to go back to the upper back, shoulders, retractions. So on the floor one. So it's not like a press up, okay? So it's you're almost just moving your shoulders out back and then your shoulders out the socket and forward and back. So it's a tiny movement that we're doing that. Just so you can see here. So it's just that tiny movement. Alright, so 60 seconds. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So it's that shoulder forward and back. So if you are doing this option here, make sure that your knees are underneath your hips, so there's that strong all fours position. So I've got good range of movement, so I can maybe go a little bit deeper, but even if you're just in this slight bend here, it's absolutely fine. Just feeling that shoulders coming back, so you're pulling up and then control it down. Nice and slow. So we're over halfway with 20 more seconds. So you keep going with that while I show you the next one, which is your knee rolls. So in 10 seconds, you're going to do this option here, the knee rolls. Or this one here. So right, we're going to go 15 seconds recovery from now. So align on your back if you're on the floor. Recover 15 seconds. And you're going to go a little bit of knee roll side to side. 3, 2, 1. Off we go. So I'm doing the standing version or the middle one. So get that full circle. So 30 seconds one way. And then we're going to do 30 seconds the other. So try and keep your feet planted on the floor. Ooh. What's that? Okay, and change direction if you're doing the knee standing rolls. That's it. So in 15 more seconds, then we're moving on to the pelvic tilts. So I'll just show you if you can look in. So that's the pelvic tilts here. So you can do a cat-cow position if you want to advance it. Control up and down. Rest there. It's 15 seconds recovery. We've got a standing option. Or the seated. Tiny movements. Off we go. So 60 seconds of work. So this is more advanced option, the cat-cow. So you round your back, chin to chest, tailbone under. So this is like pelvic tilts as well as the upper back. So slightly advancing it a little bit more. Nice and controlled. So I'm doing it a little bit fast. You want to do it a little bit slower so you can get that full extension. So chin to chest, round your back, tailbone under, and then lift it up and here. Or standing option. So we have got 20 more seconds. Nice deep breathing. Focus on that nice and long. So 10 more seconds. So I'm going to show you the upper body clams here. So 5 more seconds, and this is what's going to be the next one, but you'll get a 15 seconds recovery from now. So another one in here is we've got threading the needle, so an advanced one. So scooping under, dropping the shoulder and rotate round. So this is more of an advanced option, so you try and do 30 seconds on one way. Okay, off we go. So controlling that down, feeling the rotation, dropping the shoulder, and then lifting up, looking up towards your hand. So you've got this option here, looking over your shoulders. If you're doing the standing option, or the seated version. So it's great if you're doing the thread and the needle one. So another 20 more seconds. So in that time, we're going to be side to side. So in 5 seconds, rest there. So you've got the internal, the external rotation in here. You can even do a seated version. So you bring your knee in. So this is slightly more advanced. Internal. Or we go on the floor, all the way over, other side, and even advanced, going over here. Okay, off we go. So seated version, internal, external rotation, so feeling that inwards, open up the hips. If you want advanced from the chair option, you can come on to the seated version here and propping the knee down. If you feel like you can get a little bit more deeper into your stretch. Or we've got this, here's a stretch out in front, control it nice, controlled, reset, bring it up, other side, reset, over to the other side. Try and keep the shoulders behind. Last 5 more seconds. And relax there. So going back to that wall, lateral raise and internal, external rotations with a name. That's a mouthful, that one. So this one in here. And then 1, 2 overhead reach. So last exercise. Off we go. Tap, tap, overhead reach, come back down. So tap, tap, overhead reach. Good. For your seated version. And 15 more seconds. And relax there. So 30 seconds recovery. Take a drink if you need to. So this is the last round and we're going to be doing full non-stop, so the clock's going to keep going. So in the last 15 seconds, I'm going to show you what the next one is. So we're just going to try and have it flow a little bit better. Where you can. Alright, but just take the rest when you need it. So it'll be back to those shoulder retractions. Then the standing rolls. Pelvic tilts or cat-cow. Standing upper body clams or threading the needle, and I'll show you the rest when we get there. So you ready for this last one? Yeah? Feeling all good? Good? Right. Okay. So the first one in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Off we go. So that's it. Shoulders forward and backwards. Try and get a little bit deeper if you can. Using the wall, hands straight in front of the shoulders, not any higher. forward and back. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. So we're halfway. So I feel like shoulder crunch from my injury. Forward and backward, really mobilizing through the shoulders. So we've got 15 seconds to go. So we're going to move on to knee rolls. So stationary here, side to side. For the standing version, off we go. Straight in. Nice and slow and controlled. 15 seconds in. Or the seated version. If you want to do a little calf raise, that's fine. Side to side calf raise. If you want to get into your calves a bit more. So 15 more seconds, so keep going. And I'll go on to the next one. This is the pelvic tilts. Okay, or your cat cow. 5 seconds, that's rounding the back. And 3, 2, 1, off we go. Nice. Inhale as you lift up your chest. Exhale, chin to chest, round that back, tailbone under. Nice breathing in. Always hold a little bit at the top and then a little bit at the bottom. So do your seated version. So we've got 25 seconds to go. Shoulders in line with your hips if you're doing this version here. So 15 more seconds, we're going to move on to the upper body clams, or you've got thread in the needle, so it's rotating round and then lifting up. In 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So thread the needle if you're this option here, and coming up, or the upper body clams. So try and do 30 seconds on one side if you're doing this option. So feel a rotation through the lats as you lower your shoulders and then open up the chest and look right up towards your hand. So 10 more seconds and we'll change sides if you're choosing this option. 3, 2, 1. So pop that hand, rotating round, lifting up, and looking up towards your hand. Oh, you've got your standing. Look a little bit over towards your shoulders. Try and go a little bit further past. Try and keep the trunk of the body relatively still. Okay, so the next one on the floor, coming on your back here, as you're moving on the side. Off we go. Missed this one. Over here, side to side. Seated version. So both ways are going the same direction. Or you do 1, 2, up, down if the calf raises. So this is over halfway. Left. You're doing a seated version, adding a calf raise. So we've got 15 more seconds, and it's that last one. It's going to be that internal, external, interwall angels for the upper body. 5 more seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So tap, tap, nice and long overhead and coming back down. So think it's slow and controlled. Don't, it's not like cardio where you just try and think on pace. The more slow and control, the more length that you can get, and the more control. So this is the last little bit of work that we're going to be doing. Last 15 seconds. This is a really good one for the shoulder mobility, good for your spine. Last 3, 2, 1, we're done. Okay, so just when you're ready, even come up to seated or standing, and we're just going to start off with that gentle shoulder rolls. If you want to go for a little march, that's fine, just to kind of mobilise and a little bit. But yeah, just take your time and coming in and out, just to bring that heart rate down a little bit. Nice and controlled. And then just a little bit of a swing. Tiny bit movements. Nice deep breathing. Other side. I'm just going to do one round. Tap, nice and tall. Tap, like a star. Rotate through the spine, to the hips. Let's go for 2 more each side. Hands out wide. Round of applause. Well done. Thank you very much. Oh, we never actually, sorry. Actually, that's fine. That'll do us.